Hello, and welcome to the Tales from the Shores podcast, episode 4, C.B.T. edition. My name's Tel, and I have with me Shulk and Monster Girl.
Hello. It's a pleasure to be here.
Hello indeed. Nice to see y'all.
As you guys know, I do some Bright Shores content. That's why you're here. And let's have these two guests introduce themselves. Monster Girl?
Hi, I'm Monster Girl. I stream on Twitch. Just a Monster Girl is my handle. I'm the rank 3 in Hope Forest, and that's basically where I spend most of my time. So I'm very unaware of a lot of the other parts of the game.
The truest guardian. One that doesn't leave the forest. And we have Shulk.
Yeah, I'm Mifo Shulk in the game, and I'm the number 3 chef in the world. And the kitchen is where I don't spend most of my time anymore. Basically, anywhere but there for the foreseeable future. But occasionally I do pop back in and give my homies some love.
Not until we get the mythical food update that everyone keeps begging for, right?
Please, you can do it.
So, what are you guys up to in game right now?
I am currently training some combat in the mines because I'm getting my mine fighter level up for Lost and Found.
I'm training woodcutting, pretty much. Focusing on woodcutting and carpentry because the true rank leaderboards kind of let me know that Gatherer was out of reach to get on the top player leaderboard. So
yeah. And what are you working? So you're just going straight for 500 all on Forest, right? And trying to see what rank you get?
That's right. Absolutely. I might train Gathering actively at the end, but I might just KP and passive it, though. We'll see.
Yeah. And what rank do you think you'll get?
I'm pretty sure I'll get rank 3. I don't think I'm catching up to Nat or to Ape. And Howard is rank 4 right now, and he's 150 levels behind me. So I would be really surprised if he caught up, but it's possible.
And Shulk, how's life outside the kitchen?
It's so freeing. I've been able to play some other games, really get my vibe back, really do some self-care in that regard. I saw my beer trimmed, so I look nice on stream again.
Yeah, I see that. Nice. I saw that whenever I see you in the Discord and stuff like that. It's like Shulk is playing everything except Brighter Shores right now. You got Marvel Rivals, you got all sorts of stuff. You're like, I'm free.
Yeah, I do pop in frequently, but it's just like I can just go in, play for an hour, play for 2 hours, play something else, come back to Brighter Shores, work up the motivation.
Yeah.
No, I completely understand that. I've been in a similar boat, honestly. Ever since I hit rank 3, I got passed up by Ape, and I had like this huge berth to Howard that I've been taking a little bit more time to go do some other things.
Yeah. As for myself, I am working on all quests still. Mostly I got distracted by merchanting and leatherworker because I need more something passive to do, and I get 200 already on the dens, so I'm gonna wait for combat for that. So I started doing merchant because I needed to do leatherworker, and I don't want to do leatherworker without the discount, so I've been doing tons of merchant. I'm not gonna do merchant today, so I'm just passiving my burn rate to 200 because I need to control this stuff. So as usual, I'm gonna be passiving on stream. All right. So we have a lot to discuss today. A lot happened. It was like a nothing week, and then it became an everything week really fast.
Quick pause. I'm getting double audio from you right now, Tel.
Is the stream getting double audio?
I don't know. I don't think so.
Mute your tabs. Mute one of your tabs. You might have 2 tabs open.
No, I've got 2 tabs open, but one of them is muted. It's fine now. I have no idea what happened.
Okay, all good. No double audio on YouTube. Good. All right, let's bring over the content here. what we have to discuss today. It was a pretty nothing week, and then everything started going crazy. But first of all, we had just a little update. We had a logout button added to the passive activity, so now you can just click on it. I still press tilde and then quit because I'm crazy, but I just like the force closing that way. We had some small combat change with activity, the monster problem where there was not enough monsters to fight, and I think I haven't done too much combat since this update, but has this been better for you guys?
I have noticed that when I go to the Mine Southwest portal stone, the first like hallway with the tentacles is different now. There's more space and there's an extra tentacle, and it really messes with me every time that I run through there.
Is that why I'm getting hit all the time?
Because I'm expecting one thing. Oh, almost. Like, I'm so used to just clicking specific squares, and now there's an extra tentacle, and even though it's still the same squares, I don't use the same visual cues anymore.
Yeah. One really nice thing that I think people didn't realize, and I'm going to tell you all now, Ventures did not used to get experience bonuses from potions, but now they do. So if you're not potioning your Venture, make sure you do. Musco, you probably don't even do them.
Done a single venture.
Yeah, you're still in the forest and there are none, so you're probably not doing any. This is a pretty small update. This is nice. It's just little non-controversial stuff. And then we got the plan to merge the combat professions.
The big one.
The big one. This is that mythical combat upgrade tree, and probably what we're going to spend a lot of time chatting about today.
Oh yeah.
When this first came out, there was a lot of confusion as to how this TLDR post that Samuel made was perceived and understood. So it took a little while for a lot of people to get, and it took a lot of reads because some things got mixed up about the merge versus the actual new combat tree, which are two separate things, as well as the conversion, which is definitely confusing for some people. So much I made another spreadsheet thing. But let's all go all the way back to the top here. First of all, first impressions.
I think it is a very great idea, and I'm not just saying that because I basically suggested something very similar to this. I'm not at all biased.
Shulk did do this. So separate to that, we got this Discord post before the Q&A even. And Shulk made this. This is a really long post. Don't read all this. But basically,
TLDR.
What this TLDR is, it is this. It's pretty spot on. It's actually pretty crazy. I think Samuel even commented on it. Shulk didn't predict maybe like getting a whole trees, but we did like in terms of stats and stuff, but rather than just specs instead, but it still worked out. You didn't expect them to merge the combat into 30 plus 470, but you still had the same idea.
Yeah. And
then everything else is just basic as street and everything. So that was pretty cool. I think I remember Samuel saying he saw something. I'm pretty sure he's referring to you, where it was just absolutely spot on. So that's good. You already hit 500 scout, didn't you, Monster Girl?
Yes. I hit 500 scout probably like a month ago now.
Yeah.
So I was definitely very intrigued on what they were gonna do. I had the idea that they almost certainly had to progress into some kind of combat tree to merge everything. Just because how are you gonna maintain that leaderboard progress, right? If there isn't some preservation of the professions, right? Even during a merge.
Yeah, that made the most sense to me as well. And a lot of people were worried about their capes, their skills. So that's one thing they did. Even if you have 500, you will keep your cape, you will keep your leaderboard rank, and nothing will change there. So that's quite good. Yep. Then we do have a new profession coming, which is just the combat level, or I forget what they want to call it here.
Did they name it?
I think it's just combat level.
Combat?
Yeah, combat level. is what they have. So it's just called combat level or combat. And what it's going to do is it's going to subtract 30 levels from guard, 30 levels from scout, 40 levels from minefighter, 40 levels from watch person, and 40 levels then on. And then you get a total of 140 if you're air quote maxed already. And then those levels get allocated. The rest of the levels get allocated into the obelisk. And then you get a new profession called the obelisk level, achievement level, which gives you perk points and combat upgrade trees. Some people miss that each level of your base combat gives you a tree, and then each level in the achievement is a separate tree. So there's 2 trees as well.
Right.
So your combat level is going to persist through the entire game. So when you leave Hopeport, you keep your gear and you keep your level, you keep your stats and whatever allocations you've done to your tree. You go into Hope Forest, and then you go from there. This is really big for me because I've had multiple friends quit the game just from the fact they went into Hope Forest, they lost everything, and they're like, "Oh, well, that sucks," and then left.
Yeah,
and that,
definitely.
Yeah, this fixes that for me, and having progression go from one episode to another, even if you can argue that they're the same thing as before. I've described it as if you do a wax on your car or paint your house, you increase the resale value, right? A new coat of paint is sometimes all you need to make something really good. And I know they don't think it is. Fan researchers have said no, it's not just a coat of paint. You have to actually level up and do all these kinds of things, and it's going to change the game. So we have to see how it's implemented.
I think the biggest change here is the fact that when we do get upgrades that carry over between episodes, that gives you a reason to engage with every episode separately. And if you get really high in, for example, guard, that will carry over into your training other skills. So if that takes even 10% less time, that already feels so much better to you.
Yes, because you feel like you're building a character then, and you feel like you're getting progression in a character, and you're actually engaging with the world properly, versus where you kind of just transition and then it's like a new slate every single time.
Right.
Yeah.
I do also, I do really like the fact that your equipment will also stay somewhat relevant as you progress into later episodes. Although I imagine that with weapon level and what have you, that you'll probably still need to rekit when you get to a new area.
Yeah. So we will, if you have if you've been playing a while and you have like a full set of epics and stuff in Chronopolis, by the time Stonewall comes out, you will be rewarded for that preparation. But if you're a new player and you haven't quite gotten there, you're not going to be severely punished. It actually introduces if you're loyal to the game and you've been playing a while, you're going to get a little bit of a kickstart into the next episode, but you're not going to be massively behind as well. So you won't chase a leaderboard if you're new, but you won't need to sit through 300 hours of main story content before you can engage with the end game or whatever you want to call it.
Right.
Also gives newer players a bit of a chance to scale a new leaderboard whenever a new episode comes out, and I think that's going to be a very big draw.
Yeah, and preparing for that as well. So where you can play the game and max out watch person to push for a combat. I think it's called. I can't remember what it's called. They've got the shield icon, but the combat in Stonewall Hill, you can do that. You can leverage your prior experience and prior character skills, which is good. Mm-hmm. There was some negative stuff but there have been chatting about the negatives here. There's been a lot of talk about the crafting, where crafting changed a little bit. So a lot of people were concerned that how it works now is because if you go into the mines, the base level gear is 60, and in Chronopolis the base level is 100. But rather than expecting players to get to 100 crafting to just give you basic gear, they've given you a boost to what you can craft, which is the plus 60 thing that everyone's kind of concerned about. What people are concerned about is if you can only make levels 140 plus 3 60 or whatever it is, then how do you make max gear? And I asked Samuel this, and they actually did confirm that attunement levels, the extra levels that go on top of your gear beyond the base level, do not scale linearly with crafting. They're not 1-to-1. So
Got it.
It might be 2, it might be 1.5, we don't know. But at level 500, you will be able to make level 140 plus 47, or whatever the maximum gear is for each episode. So we should be able to expect to do that. And that should be ongoing as well. So Stonehill Hill comes out. If you've got max crafting, you'll be able to craft max gear for Stonehill. So that's kind of done away. The second concern is that episode 14 will have base gear of level 500 or 540. People are worried they won't be able to do that. All I have to say about this is that is literally 5-6 years away. We don't know.
If not more.
Yeah, we like, that is such a, we don't know what they have planned for that. They could have totally something, but they just didn't want to ramble on about it yet.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think Andrew's taken it into account, knowing him. And yeah, there's not really a point of informing us at this very early stage. I think once we get closer to like the actual combat launch, there will be an opportunity to discuss it though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it seems so everyone in here is pretty positive about it. No concerns.
Not really. It's a case of like, show me the thing, and then I'll make up my mind about it.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, honestly, as somebody who has like a 500 combat skill, I knew that something had to change because it wasn't exactly the best experience grinding to 500 as it was, and let alone expecting people to do that over and over again each episode that comes out, right?
Yep.
I'm really comforted by everything that's been talked about with you know, the kind of the negatives that we just talked about coming to mind still.
Yeah, and just I've always, even from before the game even came out, I remember making a comment about how I predicted that the episode's combat would be different each time. So you'd take a separate combat every time because the sword motif was in every profession. So I'm like, obviously you have to re-level it, right? And I was like, oh, you know, so we have 4 different combat professions, but they're going to be slightly different. No, they weren't. it's the same.
I also thought like one will maybe give us a new weapon.
Yeah. I thought we might get new cosmetics or new types of training, but it is the same every time. And after like 4 episodes, like 1 or 2 episodes is fine. 4 is kind of draining. Anything beyond that is like, oh, here we go again.
21.
Yeah, 21, the magic number, right?
Yeah.
But
21
with the combat trees, I think there's a really good opportunity here to have the gameplay slightly different, just slightly for each profession. You know, so Scout, for example, can have a focus on ranged weapons versus other combats which won't do that. They might have more defensives or however they want to do it.
Yeah, I'm incredibly excited to see what lies deeper on the tree, because right now we only see like the top, I don't know, 1/7 of it or 10th of it, right?
Yeah.
I really want to see what really adds to that diversification of the professions with these combat trees.
Yeah, and subject to change as well, but having the ability to make builds is gonna, some people are just gonna have fun theory crafting. So expect level 500s to come out with build guides pretty much. I know Jimmy as a bot's probably gonna do it the first thing, gets a tree. That he plays BDO and stuff, so he's gonna come out with like like build guides, and this is how you do guard and stuff like that. So
I'm definitely excited to play around.
Yeah. It's gonna be really exciting.
Having played a lot of MMOs, my biggest concern with it is how many viable builds will there truly be, and how many people will be like, there are so many hexagons here, I don't know what I'm doing. Let me go to the equivalent of what WoW has for Icy Veins and just go like, what's the optimal build? Click, 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 and I'm done, and never touch it again.
They've spoken about, if you already have 500 Scout, for example, they're automatically going to allocate you all 470 points. I think that there would be value, especially because this is more of a casual centered game, and there are casual players at the moment, if they see this tree, they're going to shit themselves. So I think there needs to be an auto allocate button that will just define a build for people to give them basically what they get now, right? And then they can customize it from there.
Yeah.
Do they know if we can get every node when you hit 500, or if there will be some nodes that you will just not get and you will have to keep swapping between your various builds?
We don't know. Base combat, I assume we wouldn't, but
I'm going to assume with how many nodes is on just the skill tree that they gave us to look at, which I know isn't the final skill tree by any means.
Yeah, but we can still see that they plan to do pretty far with the skull bar here. So
exactly. I imagine that you will have to path out and you won't be able to take every single node, right?
Yeah.
Which will enable people to engage in a lot more diversification, which is what we need. We need people to have unique combat experiences and not just, say, hey, this is the semi AFK skill that you do for a few weeks and then you're done.
I just quickly counted. There's 100 nodes, like more than 100 nodes, maybe, or just about on this screenshot. Because like this is 16 and then 32, 48, just in these 3 rows, and then there's a whole bunch more. So yeah, and even then, I really like the idea to have non-combat buffs here. So like increasing your immunity cast speed and how fast you can move during combat. So when those pesky goblins and the north and south walls attack the poor bounty chefs, the chefs doing their bounties can leave combat immediately.
Yeah.
So stuff like this
it wouldn't
really
be
cool.
so bad if they just didn't attack you while you were already halfway up the stairs.
Or the ladder, yeah.
Yeah.
One sniped me when I was already in the tower. It sniped me from a corner piece. And I was like, no way they can do that. Waiting for Samuel to fix that one.
That sounds like Hopewort problems.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, and yeah, Musker, no, Shulk, you said that, there might be a predefined build, but because the way that immunities and stuff works, things might shift as you level up and unlock new skins and stuff.
Yeah, there might also be like quality of life improvements that if you're just going for like a raid build, you might not need an immunity because you're going to kill everything in there anyway.
Yep.
Or you might have to kill entire rooms, so you might just not take that node and grab some other power elsewhere in the tree.
Yeah, sideways progression is a really good way to introduce flavor without breaking balance. So so we get the default build, but no auto allocate button. I think that's really important that we see that. Just for the
that would be nice for sure.
Yeah, it's because 470 points is a lot.
Yeah, I also hope that there's a very quick way of allocating them just by like holding down your mouse button and dragging over the tiles you want.
Oh yeah.
Rather than having to single click 470 tiles, because that will get very cumbersome very quickly.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And the the ability to allocate them while in the field is important. I assume we should be able to do that. I don't think they'd make us go back to the obelisk 470 times. But yeah, the ability to, when you level up, it comes up with a little menu, put your point in, that would be good. Otherwise,
I think if you get a new point, you should be able to allocate it immediately. But if you want to swap your build, you should have to go to the obelisk.
Yes. Yeah. I think that would be really good. So just, as long as we can allocate them in the field, really important. Because that's how we play right now. So
yeah.
All right. Oh yeah, and there's gonna be like Path of Brighter Shores sites where you can do the do the build, do the whole thing. That's gonna be a pain to set up, but people will do it. All right. I think that's everything we really have to say about it. If you're not sure about this and what's going on, there's a lot to go on into this. I do have a video summary on this that I broke down everything I could as simply as I could. because there is a lot to break, a lot of different components and moving parts here that can break things. But I don't think there's anything to be concerned about. Final sign off for me is this is going to fix the new player experience so much that I'm excited, very, very excited for it.
I think it also very much gives you a reason to keep training beyond like 200 or honestly beyond what is required for quests right now, because there really isn't a reason.
Yeah. And I do think it's not just the new player experience. I think that people will find value in the combat rework at any level. Truly.
Yeah.
Cool. Very positive today, guys.
Well, I'm a positive kind of person. I try to be.
Let's destroy that. Leaderboards.
Leaderboards. Yeah. We'll talk about it.
No more positivity. Okay. So, the leaderboards change came out, and we had a small issue. I don't think I've got the screenshot here. No. We had a small issue of... No, let's go from the beginning. Leaderboards came out. People were very upset by the anonymity, the anon thing, the opting, opt out, right? It's a huge meme. Shulk's been air quote number 3, and up until this update, it's been in the air. Allegedly number 3. And now you're confirmed number 3. I didn't predict that when this update came out and, you know, anon names were put in and you could see the anon places and stuff like that, I was like, wow, that's even better than what they said they would do. Because what they said originally, they're going to show numbers and not placements, right? And show the actual levels for what they're at. So they did that. They actually did show the levels on the anon players, which is really good because the opt-out problem it incentivizes a lot of unhealthy habits in the racers, which
it does.
Yes, okay, people, Senhai stays up 30 hours to push or whatever, but maybe Senhai wouldn't have felt the urge to do that if he knew what place the previous player was at, right? So yeah, when you don't know what is chasing you, you just kind of have to heads forward and you feel incentivized to grind way harder than you might actually need to. So I'm really happy about it. And then it turns out there's a massive controversy. I'm like, there's no way people hate this. And then all of the people in the top 10 opt out.
I honestly have no idea why people are so upset and frustrated. Like I said before the podcast, I'm kind of hearing about this really for the first time here. I kind of knew about it. You know, I saw Andrew's tweet and I saw the removal of said tweet. But earnestly, when I saw the leaderboard update, I was like, this is literally everything that I need to understand how I should proceed with my grinding. I have all the information.
Oh, that's right. You didn't know what opters there were, and now you do, right? For your own personal grind. So you're actually really affected by this. Okay, yeah.
And it's super helpful. And so hearing that there was a ton of people who were frustrated, the only thing that I could understand, or not even understand, the only thing that I could fathom people getting upset about is the fact that they can't see an individual anonymous person's individual skill levels across the board, they're not linked.
Correct. That's where the problem happened. So how it mostly came down, no one was actually protesting, air quote. What happened was they were... Here we are. This is the screenshot of everyone opted out. What happened was, again, they're doing the advantage thing where you can't see what they're leveling. The top players, most of the people upset are the top players or this vocal minority, in my opinion, and based on Andrew's tweet, I think that kind of confirms it. But what happened here is they opted out because you can't see the total levels, as you said. So therefore you can't see what they're grinding and what they're KPing and passiving, right? That's the idea. Personally, I think that's a crock of shit because we all know you're doing merchant and we all know you're KPing slow skills.
Exactly.
It's not like a deep secret. It's not like this cabal that is working underground and leveling super secretly, and you're gonna have to level skills anyway, right? So I don't see it. I don't understand why, personally.
Yeah, can I just say that, like, people getting upset about getting information, because ultimately that's what the update did, right? It gave us more information to inform how we grind and everything. Having people get upset because the dev team chose to take a detour to give us this update that we've been asking for over and over and over again for weeks, and then to just basically say, oh well, it wasn't good enough, is beyond me. I cannot fathom.
Yeah.
My main gripe with this is when I was doing my chef grind, these were the exact changes that I asked for. I wanted to know how many anonymous people are there, and preferably let me know what their skill levels are so that I know what I'm doing. And then they said, no, we're not going to show you anything about Anon players, and you would just get like what you have now when you have the show Anon checkmark turned off. You would only see rank 1, 3, and 4 right now on the top players, which wouldn't really help aside from knowing what rank you are. And they went above and beyond and went like, okay, we can see how this is like going to help people. Let's give them that button regardless. And sure, it looks a little weird if it says anonymous player, but more importantly, you will know whether or not you can take your foot off the gas for a day and go take care of some important things.
Yeah, exactly.
And then it comes out and a lot of players are like, this is not what we asked for. And I'm like, how isn't it?
Yeah. I don't like that narrative change as well, where it was like in the AMA even, it was like, oh my god, fix leaderboards, fix leaderboards, fix leaderboards. And they're like, okay, we'll fix the leaderboards. And then everyone's like, okay, yay. And then they release it, and then it wasn't good enough as well. And because of the add-on thing. Now, there is still the in question of, hey, you know, why do this, right? Why do we still need this? And it is, as Andrew tweeted, it was not because of GDPR, right? It's because of a new upcoming UK law, because the Personal Safety Act or something like that. Mm-hmm. And I mean, all I have to say is
they're currently working on it.
Yeah, and it's to release in this year for new companies, and existing companies like Jagex and stuff have a grace period where they have a few years before they need to do it, right? So that's why it's like this. And, you know, if all I have to say about that is, you know, it's UK, right? So you got a license for that, chat.
Yeah.
And yeah, but it isn't a protest. It is people just opting out for the advantage. I disagree. I personally disagree with the advantage, but I'm not a top player. And we do have Vporal in later coming on to chat with as well. So we might get an additional perspective from an actual top player to see what they say about it. So that's going to be really
Let me put it this way. When I look at the total level leaderboard, numbers 11 through 20, only number 19 is opted out. Whereas in the top 10, the number 1, 3, and 4 are opted in. They're all like, okay, but if I opt in, then they know something about me that I don't know about them. But then the other person can say the exact same thing. You're not opted in, so why should I opt in? So if everyone just grows a pair and just opts in, everyone knows everything. No one has an excuse. Problem solved. That's my opinion.
Yeah.
I have always been in the opinion that if you are grinding a leaderboard, that, you know, the whole purpose of a leaderboard is to show people how skilled you are at the game, or how devoted you are, right? Opting out just kind of takes away from that a little bit. And honestly, if it's for your own privacy reasons, it's for whatever, right? I can understand that. But if you are literally just opting out to spare people information, that's not the best thing, right? Especially in terms of like total level grinds, but just because that is such an ephemeral thing that, and truly such a massive grind that you should only really be grinding however much you can afford to, right? In a healthy way for your life. So I don't know. I try not to get too caught up with how other people's grinds are going to impact mine for the most part.
Yeah. And one thing that I think is interesting as well is the player perception, which we will probably see as we get into Clayton soon in the podcast. And the player perception for these grinds are, if you weren't there with them doing the crafting station's one location, people are going to see you either grinding all the way, all the time, every day, or you're going to be invisible to them. And if you were invisible to them the entire time, no one knows who Yips is. Like, right? So even if Yips got rank 1, I don't think people would care, because everyone cares Pastizio, right? Even if Yips overtook Pastizio and Pastizio stays opted in the whole time, and Pastizio's number 2, Pastizio will remain this game's Zezima, right? In the player view, in my opinion. So I think that's something to consider as well. I think people are tired.
Yeah.
It's a big case of, if you want glory, opt in.
Yes. Exactly. I just think that like grinding leaderboard positions without like having yourself be seen and known is it's strange to me, because if I was going to play this game and not grind leaderboards, I'd just be playing casually. There would be no reason for me to spend the amount of time like earnestly equivalent to like a semester at college or more, right? Unless somebody can see that and say, wow, they did a ton of effort to get 500 scout, right? Or whatever.
Yeah, and that's how you get your legendary stories about people's grinds and stuff like that. And that's part of what we try and do here as well, to talk about with the guests when they come on how their grind was and their story. So
yeah,
if we don't know who you are, I can't bring you on.
Exactly.
We can't talk about it. But you get your funny
top players are also the people who like show the community like, hey, this is the kind of example we want to set, and that also impacts how other people view the race, because if everyone's opted out, then clearly the race doesn't matter. Except it does matter, otherwise they wouldn't be opted out.
Yeah.
Now, the opt-in opt-out thing is a privacy concern that became emergent gameplay. What is your opinion on that? In terms of like the devs' position, should they just make it permanent? Should they never touch this again and just leave it? What do you think? Do you think it's on the onus is on the players at this point, or should it be continued to be Fen?
I think it's on the players. Like, I genuinely think that it's... Oh, sorry, go ahead, Mythos.
You go ahead.
Oh, okay. I think it's on the players. I think that Fen Research is a small dev team. They have so many things that need to come down the pipeline before we're even at 1.0, right? And they've already given us everything that we could possibly need for true rank leaderboards. Like, because the only people that are super impacted by not being able to see a specific person's individual skill levels is literally just like the people who are doing total level or regional completion. And that is an incredibly small, like much smaller subset of people than the people who are grinding one single profession at a time, right?
Yeah, I agree with that. I don't think it's necessarily worthwhile for Fen to take even more time out of their day, especially with, we know now that Andrew is not happy with how it went. So I think we should, as players, show him like, hey, we appreciate that you've done this. Let's just fix it amongst men instead of having to get the finger of Andrew pushing down to enforce the rules. Like, we as a community, let's just say it's like 20 people that we have to convince to opt in, essentially. Isn't it easier to just have a talk with these people and be like, hey, can we have a sportsmanlike behavior here, than having someone from above have to explain like, I am very disappointed in this behavior.
Right.
Yeah, it's an interesting dynamic I never have quite seen in a game before, mostly because no one's ever been able to opt out of leaderboards and then opt in at will, right? So
right,
it's a little bit interesting there, but it's created some just a very interesting story, because I think we'll hopefully be over this by a year's time, and then there'll be like in 5 years there'll be like the leaderboard wars people do videos on and stuff like that, and
Yeah.
it's gonna be weird, but it's just something
It'll be
very
great.
different. Yeah, it's pretty cool. I think I think I yap on about it too much. I'm supposed to be relatively neutral, and I've not taken a neutral position on this. I think people just need to move on.
I think they need to move on. I think that everybody's grind should be their own journey, and well, looking at other people's levels can help you understand like how you should pace yourself. I think that if it's already gotten to the point where you're pushing your sleep back immensely, right? That maybe that's a sign that you should slow down. Because for me, honestly, like I could have maybe not for Nat in Hope Forest total, like maybe I couldn't beat Nat. Nat's incredible, but Ape, like I could have earnestly like upped the amount of hours I played, right, and really tried to fight for second place. But I just hit this point already where I was like, I do not want to spend more time than I already am, which is like at least 12 hours a day, putting even more time into this game when I have stuff in life that I have to take care of, right? I've been grinding nonstop for like 2 months.
Yeah, that's the exact same attitude that I had towards Chef. I was like, I'll go as hard as I feel is responsible. If I have to give up on sleep, or I have to like completely cut my diet to shreds and only have takeout, at that point it's just not worth it anymore, because it just also doesn't become any more fun.
Yeah,
Exactly.
You also just lose efficiency if you lose sleep. Like
I've
you
said that
just
every time.
get so much
Every
worse.
and
And if it's like a race that lasts a week, that's one thing. Like a
Yes.
week, you can push through. But if you're really going for the massive grinds where you're talking about a month, multiple months, it's really a marathon and not a sprint. And you have to take your own health into consideration.
Exactly. I wholeheartedly agree.
One thing about the leaderboards I find really interesting is that in traditional games, no one really gives a shit about number 2.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
in this game, it's very different. I find that anyone who reaches 500 or top 20 gets the same celebration, assuming they were opted in the whole time, but they get the same celebration that everyone gets, right? People have showed up for tons of 500 parties, and it's been a lot of fun. People go buy their capes and stuff like that. You see a 500 cape in the game, and you're like, that dude's insane. What a grinder. So I do like that. I do think that regardless of the environment that some of the anon stuff has, I think that the leaderboards and the way that the game is designed with the crafting stations and the rooms and the community, as we've discussed on the previous podcasts, I think is really cool. I think they've done something really cool with that.
Once we get room and profession chats, it will be even better.
Please.
Yes, agreed.
Like if there's one update where I'm like, can you please like fast track this? It would be the chats, just for the social aspect, because it makes the grind a lot more bearable.
Mm-hmm.
It does. It does.
It does.
Anytime anybody's been pushing towards 500 and you are just kind of alone, that happened to me a lot during the combat grind. It gets lonely, you know?
Absolutely.
Yeah. I think that's pretty much it. Yeah, having to leave the room every time to everything, every crafter suffers from that. So it's nice to be able to.
It's like, see you never, boys.
And then you sometimes get in a separate room, and then it's just we need a room chat or something like that. I think one person made a nice idea which we'll go into with the next update, is that a chat could be based around the circle.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that could be a thing.
You might have instances though where like a Venn diagram, right, where you're getting chat from multiple different regions.
It's pretty tricky.
Oh Lord.
and you might not know who's talking to who or about what.
Yeah,
that's problematic. That you get like 3 different conversations, but only half of it.
Exactly. I
Hey.
think that's why profession chat really does help a lot.
It does solve it. It's like clan chats, but you just chef chat or however they're gonna do it. Anyway,
Yeah.
circle update's pretty good, right?
Oh,
I
my
love a
god,
circle
I'm
update.
using it literally right now.
I don't think there's too much
Especially
controversy
here in
behind
the
this one.
mines.
Yeah, it's I mean, Reddit will complain about anything, so I don't want to bring them up. But for the most part, I think this came out. People were like, "Wait a minute, how does this work? Oh no, I can't run all the way from across the forest, right?" And then after that,
Right.
everyone was like, "Oh my god, this thing is amazing."
Yeah, it's much improved. Like there's very few areas that have like really particularly large rooms linked together that are I guess hurt by this update, but it's so few that I think that overall the circle improves just about everything.
Yeah, like we gain so much more than we lose. And like I said,
Exactly.
mine southwest, if you want to go to like the Bone Right AFK area, that's like 5 rooms that you have to go through. Whereas right now I can just click once on the circle. Problem solved.
I really like that there's no arbitrary limit as to when you can click next. Now you can click next all the time. So like kind of like in RuneScape, I don't like bringing it up all the time, but in RuneScape you can click them out constantly. Place your flags.
Yeah.
But in this game you can't. You can't until you move to the next room. So you have to wait. And like I want to tab out, but I have to wait until I transition the room. Now you can click where you want, and then you can keep clicking, or you can just tab out or whatever. It's great. It just feels a lot better to run around in, especially when in places like Cran and the mines.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Now give us the ability to queue any walking, please.
I will like queue it. Yeah, I see what you mean. Just left click queue it. So when you're finishing a craft or something, you can queue walk to the bank and stuff like that.
Exactly.
Oh yeah, that would be nice.
Yeah, because
as well as entering a trade and queuing things that require you to put in items. Like that alone would make certain crafting things a lot easier. But I get that might be a little bit more difficult to implement, so it might be a down the road kind of situation.
Yeah.
Let's see. Okay, yeah, I really nothing, no complaints here. There's some people who are a little bit upset about it, but I think once people get used to it, again, it's all good.
People don't
in
like
a month
change.
or two.
Yeah.
People just won't even remember how it used to be. So
yeah,
exactly.
Regarding like seeing the circle on the map, I think that initially it was a little bit shocking, but for me, I don't even notice the tiles in the ground anymore, right?
Yeah.
So I think this will go the same way where you don't even really notice it. We might get some kind of configuration later anyway, but I don't notice the tiles. I don't notice the room changes. It all just kind of plays really well now for me.
That's a lot smoother. Very much appreciated.
All right. I think that's everything all the patches that we discussed. I don't think there was too much else on the patch front. Mostly just the news update, leaderboards drama, and then we get the circle. Everyone praise the circle.
Everyone
I love these shadow updates, dude. Like whenever everyone's like, "Oh man, this feels a little weird," they just come out with this really inventive idea that no one thought about. My best example is the auto withdraw, right? Where everyone was like, "Please give us 6 and 12. Please give us 6 and 12. Just let us do 6 and 12." And then they're like, "Well, actually, you get auto." And no one suggested that. No one was like, "Hey, can we automatically withdraw 4, 6, 12 items, 8, 12 items based on what we require?" No one said that. They just wanted 6 and 12. And then they just gave us auto. So yeah.
I will say I do wish that the auto withdraw had a little bit of additional logic, because I'm usually carrying potions, and if you're working carpentry, you either juggle them to utilize 12 logs, or if you're like me, I like to do things as streamlined, as easy as possible. Makes it much more sustainable. I just keep my potions in my inventory and I draw out 11, right? I would love that auto withdraw logic to
You're bad at the
modify
game,
itself.
though. You should be dropping those
Oh my
potions and doing
gosh.
12, and then picking it up, and then drinking, and then selling and dropping them again.
It's true, right? I am bad at the game.
No wonder
like,
you're
honestly,
only top 3.
Oh, only top 3 Hope Forest. Oh no. Well, like the thing is that like I have ADHD and I know full well that there's gonna be a moment where I have to go do something, like makes myself some food, and those potions are just gonna sit on the ground and disappear.
Hundreds. Yes. When we get the belt, I think that will not the tool belt that'll go away, thankfully.
Yes, thankfully. Which is why I'm not too worried about it.
Yeah. Okay. Let's see here.
Just got sent back to Hopeport by a skeleton.
Are you doing
R.I.P.
combat?
Yeah, he just slapped me with 29.
Everyone look at Shulk. Look at him do the run back of shame.
Walk of shame.
Do you know how many of those I had to do in my final level of Scout?
Oh, that
Way
just
too many.
feels so rude.
Why? Why final level?
Because I think I was so elated that it was almost over that I was just really complacent. I think I died like 8 to 15 times. Like that is the range that I would say I died in that final level.
All right. Yeah, that makes sense. I don't know if I'll ever get a 500. Not gonna lie. If I do, it'll be passively.
I don't blame you.
I don't have the time for that.
Yeah, it's a lot. It took a while for sure.
All right.
Maybe a gathering skill. If you passive it past 200 and you do that for like a year, you might get there.
Oh, you will. Honestly.
200s all is my goal. That's what I'll be happy with. If I get there, I'll be happy. That's like my maxed.
I think that's where most people should set their sights on, honestly.
Yeah.
Max that, and then I'll get 1 episode cape when they come out, right? I think you'll get episode capes at 500.
Yes, I do believe
that's like a comp cape, right? I run around with that. That'd be
for that episode, for sure.
Yeah, that's why that's one of the reasons I'm going for it. Yeah. I want that special cape,
but never all max. I don't think they should introduce that because that'll be a chase item that sets people up for false expectations.
Yeah, unless they add like significantly accelerated XP rates later on.
Yeah,
like different methods.
I have one concern about combat, and that's when they do these changes and we get the trees. How many like important nodes are going to be past 200?
Yes, yeah, that'll need to be.
That's a great question.
All right, we have a couple of guests on today. We're gonna go get them ready. I have a quick message for everyone first, and then we'll get on to the guest segment. So we'll be right back. While we get the guests for this episode set up, I put myself on the big screen to chat with you for just 1 second. I set out to find a sponsor for the podcast, but only if they met 2 rules. 1, I had to believe in them, and 2, they had to bring value to you. Now, even though 98% of you are men, mostly over the age of 25, unfortunately, I know you all play Brighter Shores. That means any hygiene products are out the window. But you do buy games, and that's why I'm happy to announce this episode's sponsor, Instant Gaming. Let me tell you a story of a young Tell growing up in the forgotten continent of Australia. If you don't know what Australia is, just imagine Bluey, but it's a whole country. Years ago, our internet was so bad, most of America forgot we existed, including Steam, who made us pay in US dollars at even higher amounts than what Americans would pay. Instant Gaming is my go-to site to buy keys from authorized resellers cheaper than what I could buy them anywhere else, and I've never had a problem with them for over 10 years of purchasing. To thank people for watching the podcast, we're also giving away a game of your choice. No strings attached, just click the link in the description and sign up to the site. Check out Instant Gaming today with the links below to see if there's any deals and buy a game or two to both support the channel and distract you while you wait for the leaderboard drama to settle down. Enough of that, let's bring our guests on. All right, we're back. And Clayton. We have Clayton. Hello.
Welcome, Clayton.
Welcome, Clayton.
Hey man.
How are you doing today?
Hey, MG.
Oh, I see.
I'm good. And hello to everyone listening or watching as well.
Okay, perfect. So, tell us about your 500 Alchemist grind, just from a general perspective. Like for example, why Alchemist? Let's start with that. Why Alchemist?
From a general perspective,
Am I the only
yeah,
one that
okay.
can't hear?
So obviously the beauty of the game is no one knows anything, which is so cool.
Mm-hmm.
I was playing through the game normally like a normal person would, your game, and take everything as much as I could. Ended up finding myself in Chronopolis pretty early. So I was hanging around there. Obviously, I got 50 alchemy like early, like it wasn't really an issue. And I must have left with 100 alchemist. I got to Chronopolis, and I liked Kreen,
I don't
was
hear
the
him
only
at
one
all,
with the 100
still.
alchemy. Cool. It's like, not looking like everyone else. And obviously, must have been like 2 or 3 days into Kreen, I started with 100 alchemist capes, and it kind of, because I wanted to just look a bit different, got to sort that out. So I ended up to get 200 just so I could have that different. That was a big push. Was a probably. And when I got to 200 alchemists, so I got to go back to Chronopolis. Different. Also, obviously, you got to decide if you like the look of the cape, if it's cool. And I call it like the bug cape because of like pincers, and the rest. So sometimes like the bug cape. Colors too. Like I love the gold at the bottom. It's harder, so the prestige of it is a bit higher. And in terms of actually pushing for the level, you have to train another stat. That's horrible. 1-3, it won't. It just falls off too soon. 1-3-1s being the potions. So yeah, I went back, started playing around, having fun with the game again, just a bit of everything. I actually got into role playing and another random, and we were game, so I was role playing a lot in Chronopolis, maybe 2 or 3 weeks there, and make a decision. There was a big decision I was having, because by this time I was making a lot of friends. People were noticing levels and stuff. I think, yes, sometime when the leaderboards came out, but I was actually a higher total account as well at some point. So decision, do I want to keep pushing total? I just want to lock in a 500. And it took a while to decide, but if be told, the total level forever changing. It's always going to change episodes.
Yeah. So you didn't decide to go
We
through
heard,
the total one.
there's a lot of episodes lined up for the future. So that's something to take in consideration if you, because there's looking at that, and it's like you don't know what's going to happen. So I thought it'd be cool, obviously, but ultimately 100 Alchemist, like that, it was the decision to get that 500, lock in the 500. I wanted a top 20. That was cool. In terms of as the byproduct of what I'd done, it was all regardless of any exterior.
How did you?
So that's the 200 part. For me to carry on and.
Yeah, no, that's right. So how did you do it? Did you grind everything out, or did you do leatherworker to get money, or how did you go ahead with that grind?
So you can 200 without leatherworker. I just happened to have a lot of gold already because I did a bit of Watchmen detectives. So that watch detectives and watchmen again. Side, it's dealing with that. But the hand kind of ends up balancing it out, which is pretty cool. So there was a bit of gold from that. Gold, like 70 gold, but like after 200. It's actually, I got enchanted pickaxe at level twisted. Never used it. I'll throw it away there. Yeah. Obviously, it's going to come in handy because at this, I was still keeping my total pretty high.
No, you're right. Sorry, Clayton. It's just, I think your connection or your laptop is just starting to get it's getting worse. So okay, cool. I might have to change off. We did get some of it, but I don't think it's working anymore. I think it's getting worse. Sorry about that. We got your 200 part. Let's see.
Okay. No, you're right.
Yeah. I don't think Monster Girl and stuff can hear you either. I might have to. You can? Or?
I can hear Clayton a little bit.
You can hear.
They're cutting out quite a bit.
Yeah. I don't. I think.
Oh no.
It's very delayed too.
I live rural, like in the country.
Oh yes, yep. All right, so Clayton lives rural, has max Alchemist, and Leatherworker on the way. Unfortunately, I don't know if we can. You sold? Did we? Maybe I'll ask just maybe shorter questions. Did you sell all your potions all on the way up?
Majority, did. Yeah, most of it did. But like, I had them sitting there, so it was like an option to sell them whenever I wanted. So I was stacking them. I've kept some. I wasn't actively selling them as I was going. I was just selling them if I needed to push a level or do a big grind or finish up something.
All right.
Obviously, there's timings that you want to hit.
Did you have anything you'd want to ask?
Did you want
Monster Girl?
Yeah.
Anyone wants the rough numbers
what's next
for
you,
Alchemy?
I mean, Alchemy is a huge grind. I can understand if you want to just kind of take it easy in the game. Do you have anything that you want to push for, or what have you?
So I've got the option to. I've got 3 options. One is just a base 200, lock in the front page, but I kind of don't want to do that. And the other option is just front page hope port. So I'm just working on some hope port stuff right now.
Yeah, hope port's probably a good choice.
I've got till 231.
Right after you.
Yeah, I've got till 231 fishing to make my decision.
Yeah.
On the path.
Because you can make your 10% hope ports as well, so it's going to be really nice to push for your 10%, your top.
Yeah, so that is true. The problem was you don't really want to stop for 10s because of the time investment. So it's like 100 an hour pretty much. So that hour you can just reinvest into training a stat purely.
Oh, okay. And you have none left over.
Yeah. No, I do have some, but I don't know what maybe I'll just use them for KPs. Oh no. Yeah. I don't know. The thing is, there's nothing hard left in Hopeport anyway, except for fishing. Or chef can be difficult if you don't have money, but there's other ways to earn money to speed that up. So it's just finding the balancing act, the sweet spots for all the levels.
Yeah.
But in terms of guard and forager, they're not even going to be an issue.
It looks like your Starlink kicked in because we can hear you now.
Exactly.
Any?
Oh really?
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah. Quick, let's get the questions out of the way before.
My internet's better at night. Yeah.
Mythos, can you hear Clayton?
Yeah, I can finally hear him.
Okay. Great.
Good.
Super.
Good.
What's up, Mythos?
What up?
Did you Okay, yeah. So you met a lot of people
What
during
up,
your
bro?
alchemist your alchemist grind. What? How? So you
Yeah,
made a lot of friends
yeah,
with Reminiscence and
There's
other
like
stuff.
2 worlds. I've got a lot of friends in Canopolis as well, so there's like the two almost
Oh,
like 2 worlds for me.
that's cool.
Sometimes they collide, sometimes they don't.
What a
Yeah, I prefer. I mean, we might as well go touch on this. A lot of the high level alchemists ain't too happy with me. Then, so there's a divide there. I won't get too much into it, but I'm more friends with like some of the lower 20 people, top 20s.
is that based on the fact that you bought your way to 500 instead of doing it the real way?
So yeah, it's a combination of that. Yeah, there's one person that feels that way. Another couple, they just weren't happy that I just passed them in general. Because it's like changing their whole Brighter Shores world view on leveling, seeing as I've been doing it the whole time from the start.
Right.
But I can't control that.
No.
And another part of it is they wanted to lock down the economy of selling potions, and I wasn't for it. I believe in the free market.
Yeah.
So
I think that's
yeah.
good
So
too.
there's
Yeah.
a bit of
We
that.
got
But it's so
capitalism
dwarfed.
versus free market. We got buying. It's so much drama in alchemy.
Yeah, it's so dwarfed by all the friends and support I have that it's almost like I've got a friend that's top page account, and they go through the same issues that I do. So I just tell them, you got to ignore the noise. You got to cut it out. You know, you've got to just ignore the noise and just focus on what you're doing.
That's great.
Because you can't control
Exactly.
you can just control yourself.
So everyone in the forest and like the kitchen, they're like kumbaya. And alchemists are at each other's neck. That's really funny. Just across the street.
No, it's not. No, it's not loud. It's not loud. It's not like that though. It's different. It's more like sneaky stuff.
Oh, it's a Cold War. It's even better.
Whispers across the board.
Yeah.
That's awesome. And
yeah, I can't relate
private DMs and groups.
So what do you think about Alchemist versus Tannery on top?
So, well, I guess I can't hide this anymore. Obviously, like I was Team Tannery. That's my group. I love those people. I'm not too involved with the Discord kind of thing. I keep to a small group, but like that's the group I represented. We went to war heaps. We invaded the kitchens. We blew up stuff. It's so much fun. And like they even come to attack us at one point. They got slaughtered. It was so good. And we kept saying Lord of the Rings references, and like there was, you know how you can put emotions in emotes in the game. Like I was putting the bang when we were at war and stuff. It was all just for fun. You know, the people that realize we're just having fun, they know that.
That's so great.
Yeah.
I didn't know any of this.
But now I'm going to snitch on myself. What you said before was so true. There's such a cool little group in the chefs in the kitchen. Like I've become friends with them, so I'm kind of diving myself in now, and the tannery won't like that.
Did you say
So
there was a
it's really hard to
Did you say there was like an Alchemist Discord? Or
I'm sure there's a tannery one. Yeah, I've been invited to.
So
That's
we
funny.
There's a chef one.
There's a chef one, yeah.
That's just a group.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm sure every stat would by now.
The satellite's moved. He's showing up as red again, but we might get one more question out of him. Let's see. There was one I want to ask. How do you feel about number 2? If you don't mind me asking. Does you really care, or?
In terms of the rank that I got, I'm so happy about it. It's like so awesome. Don't you think? It's choice. I love it. I'm really happy to achieve that. Like,
second place is awesome.
Yeah, it's like I can only be happy with that, right? Like, yeah.
All right. Well,
and it's like, as I said earlier, that's a byproduct of what I was doing.
Yeah, exactly. And before we jump over to the next guest, did you have any shout outs or anything like that you wanted to do? Sounds like you have a few friends.
Sure. I'll probably forget somebody, but we'll go Mighty S, Empathetic, Pimp Squeak, Yellow Powerpuff, Lucky Brit, 13, Stunner, Zach, Zeo, Maybach, Turkana, Killshot,
Are these
Moba,
from
Count
memory?
Sailor, Cook,
What?
Senhai, Badox,
You should have seen him at the 500 party.
Twisty, Shayna. They're just some people that helped me along.
Wow.
Yeah.
Clayton's popular.
There's a lot more names, and I'm going to miss somebody else. You, Zan, last time, so Zan as well. All the new chef buddies, and I know the tannery's going to hate me for that, but I'm not the only one that's did a little conversion from the tannery. So
is it crazy that I know? Like,
and I'm not a member anyway. I'm not a member, so
the crazy part is I actually kind of know almost all of those names.
Yeah, I mean, I could say more names. Yeah.
That's awesome.
The reason I'm not going to log in is because of the internet, obviously. But if I could log in, there's more.
That's awesome. Thanks so much for coming on, Clayton.
Yeah, thank you, Clayton. Really appreciate it.
Hey, no, all good. And thank you for your time as well. I appreciate it.
No worries.
Yeah, thanks, guys. Everyone listening as well. Love you all.
See ya. We're going to bring on Sap.
Later.
Later, man. Nice having you on.
Sap, hello.
Hey, Sap.
Hey, Sap.
I might have... You there, buddy? Oh, hold on. No, that might be me.
I can hear Sap.
You can hear Sap. See, now I can't hear. What's going? No, I know exactly why.
We've changed roles. Now I can finally hear our guest.
Take it away, Shook.
Just send me the list. I'll ask the questions.
Oh, I'm doing it from head. Hello, Sap. Speak again.
Hey, can you hear me?
Yes, I can. All right, fix that.
Oh, superb.
Perfect. All right, Sap. Hello. How are you today?
I'm doing good. Thank you for having me. How you doing?
Very well, thank you. Tell me about carpentry, how miserable it was, and why you chose it.
Well, it's funny because whenever you're in the workshop, well, particularly how long I can spend my time there, you do see a lot of people going through the whole 32 grind.
Yes.
And see them moan about it. And you're sitting there, 300, 400 plus, be like, oh, about that.
You get to see all the new players too, don't you? Because they all finish Hopeport and they beeline it to 32 coverage because they get told they have to do it, right?
Definitely. There's not as much drama in the workshop, which I'm quite glad about. We're far more chill over there. I think I have quite a different perspective because everyone does say how AFK carpentry is, but I did it doing woodcutting, so I gathered all my logs. So I got like breaks in between, which I thought was quite fun, and I quite like the combination of you get to the next tier of logs, then you can go do some woodcutting, and yes, I think it breaks up quite a bit. So it's quite I thought it was quite fun personally.
Yeah, so you actually got like 470 woodcutter as well.
Yep,
right?
It's 500 now finally. So
nice.
Congrats.
So it's
congrats.
So that's probably we're going to start seeing the crafter, the not profitable crafters come in because, I mean, alchemy has profit up until 200, but woodcutter is not profitable at all, right? The whole way.
Yeah, pretty much unless you do carpentry.
Yeah. Sorry, carpentry is not profitable unless you. If you buy in it, you're losing money no matter what. Yeah.
Bleeding money.
And hemorrhaging even.
How much did you end up with when you finished?
Well, so I think I was a bit less efficient than most people. So when I first started doing carpentry, I would go and cut logs, do carpentry, and then I would use that money to buy more logs. So by the end, I had my woodcutting and carpentry level was really out of sync. And when the leaderboards came out, I was like joint rank 2, like 203. And I noticed that every other high carpenter had a massively high woodcutting level as well. And I think that was a moment I thought, oh, okay, I need to put some work and grind up my woodcutting basically. So by the end of it, I had like about 180 gold. So not too bad, but not anything to write home about, I don't think.
Mm-hmm. It's still, yeah, it's not too bad at all. That'll help a lot. So you're
Yeah,
working on
other carpenters like Racco and Marlo probably have way more money than I do.
and you really landed that. You really landed that position, rank 1, wood carpenter, even with 470 woodcutter. That's pretty crazy to me. I think that's very different to what we see with all the other ones, merchant, leatherworker, even some of the crafters like chef and stuff. They just walked in, got 500, walked out. But you had to do a whole different path compared to some of those other people.
Yes. I did realize quite early on that I wouldn't be able to compete with people who did have a high wood cutting. But I did get to a point where I felt like every other profession was getting 500s. And I was sitting around 300. And I was thinking, oh God, it's going to take forever. But I do think having wood cutting be a requirement did make it way longer.
Yeah.
It was quite a grind. I was essentially living 2 500s at the same time.
Yeah. Which you only secured like a week later, pretty much. I messaged you about this a week ago, I think, and you had 470 to set up, your position, your guest feature on the podcast for 500 carpentry. A week later, you got 500 woodcutter as well. So I assume you're going for number 1 Hope Forest, or not number 1, but max Hope Forest.
I would like to, yeah, because I've got 2 maxes anyway. It was a shame not to.
Yeah.
So I'm slowly working and gathering at the moment.
So you're just gonna enchant your tools, kill some mobs. You're good, right?
Pretty much, yeah. That's the plan, I think.
Coming for my rank 3.
Yeah.
Oh, I think you're quite safe there, Dot.
It's personal now.
Yeah, it's personal.
Yeah, but I mean, I will just say when I first started, so before the game came out, the profession capes were a big draw for me. And going into it, I knew I wanted to get a max cape. And as I unlocked each episode, I was looking at the capes. I thought, oh, carpentry, that looks awesome. And I sort of went from there and sort of stuck to it. I didn't expect to get higher rank on the leaderboard at all. It wasn't really a goal. But then when leaderboards came out, I was sort of around rank 2. So I sort of thought, oh, why not just go for it? Yeah. I will just say I did cheat a little bit at the end because I did buy the logs for the last like 30 levels. Only because there was no true ranks and you can never know. So I thought, just to be on the safe side.
Oh, you got it before true ranks? I think so.
Yes.
Yeah.
So
I remember,
if true ranks did come up before I got 500, I think I would have probably cut them all down myself.
I remember you got 500 carpentry when it was like a slow news week before all the drama and stuff. So
yeah. Luckily.
Yeah. And what was I think who was behind you? I think was it Mala?
I think it was Marla's like he's like 480ish now. I think he's like right on the corner from hitting himself.
So we'll be celebrating Mala's 500 pretty soon. And then what do you think you'll hit for Hope Forest? In terms of position 5, 6.
I would like to maybe be top 5. That'd be good. Maybe rank 5, rank 6, possibly.
It's interesting because I feel like for some reason it's just all the Hope Forest people's journey is kind of the same, very very closely aligned, right? Because you're all cutting down, you're all chopping them, like it's just very closely aligned compared to some of the other people who was like, I'm gonna get 500 chef and then I'm gonna never touch the game again. Or you're all just committing to like, well, I already got 500 woodcutter to get 500 carpentry, or I'm already got 500 gathering and scout, so I might as well finish it.
Yeah, I feel like we all quite like the forest. We all want to stay there. Got me, wants to go Savage. Yeah, we'll sort of sticking to the forest.
Also helps. Forest only has 4 skills instead of Hopeport's 5.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It does help. It does help.
Yeah. So Hope Forest, I guess I don't normally ask this, but what's after Hope Forest? Because that's kind of your big one. And then are you gonna chill? How hard are you going for Hope Forest too? I'm sure you take.
Well, I'm doing it quite chill. I think I was putting a lot of hours for carpentry.
Yeah.
Sort of sitting around 3-4 hours sleep most nights. So yeah, definitely a lot more chill now. Just sort of getting to enjoy the game. But after Hope Forest, probably live working merchant. I mean, I feel like they're kind of requirements unless they start nerfing it a little bit.
That's like the same thing that I'm gonna do.
All the Guardians of Hope Forest are just frolicking along. They're playing the same. They're just living their best lives. Truly are. Everyone's fighting about leaderboards and just the guardians of the hippies of this game. They're just all
too
about peace,
chill.
love, and grind. It's great. I love it. I truly do. Any questions from you guys? Surely something from you, Monster Girl.
You hit the. I guess. What are some? What are your tips and strategies? Actually, let's make this personal. What should I do on my woodcutting and carpentry grinds that I may not already be doing?
Well, I think carpentry and woodcutting is very easy. So it is just sticking to the highest tier log that you can do. Tips and tricks, I would say, make sure your woodcutting level is quite on the same level as your carpentry. Otherwise, it will be a struggle. You don't want to be sort of grinding up brambles.
So do you KP to fix that gap every now and then? Or do you just KP?
Well, I KP whatever I'm working on. So whilst I'm doing woodcutting, I'll put KP into that. And then
okay, interesting. Because you wanted to keep them in sync. Okay.
Yeah, pretty much. I would say skip ash and juniper unless your woodcutting's really low, because that's a great way to catch it back up. Because you basically need double the logs for ash and juniper because you can't lathe them. So, and yeah, I think that's pretty much it. I think there's not really much else to it, really.
Yeah. So you would even cut slower trees even if they're higher level, because I know that like sometimes. Well, U's are definitely slower, but some of the routes for the trees are worse than others, right? So you don't care. You'd rather just get the best log every time?
Yeah, I would. But it may not be as efficient. I don't know, but it works for me. So
I'm sure Mala will tell us.
Oh, yeah. Mala knows what's up.
Do you think, Sap, that the I don't know for ash trees, but I think action queuing actually changed the woodcutting process for juniper trees pretty significantly, to the point where, like when I was doing it, you can literally bank in mid cycling.
At the pond, that was a major game changer.
And I do think that junipers might actually still be better XP per hour than the last tier, even though you have to have double the amount.
Oh, I would agree with that 100%.
Yeah, so I would say juniper probably want to still cut potentially. I don't know about ash trees though. I know nothing about ash trees.
Yeah, plank logs, so the ash and junipers give less total experience, but they do give more of that bursty experience. I think there might be. You can cut them down twice as quick. So I think there is someone should do a spreadsheet on that.
It might be worth making up with the KP, perhaps.
Yeah.
Yeah. I would definitely say that needs to be looked at again.
Yeah, I do like the kind of emergent, gameplay we get out of. Maybe it's not always best to do top level stuff. Maybe there's different routes we can do, and it's cool to figure this stuff out. I like that we're kind of in the process of that. We don't know what's best. Sap just grinded harder.
Yeah.
I started earlier, grinded harder. That's it, really.
Yeah. Oh, I didn't ask about what hours did you do? Did you pull like the usual 16, 18, 12s? What do you got?
So I was sort of doing 16 to 18 hours a day.
That's
around the sort of magic number, I think.
Adman.
Crazy.
Most nights I was getting about 4 hours sleep.
My main question would be, is there a tree that really made you tear your hair out?
Ooh,
and that you're glad you never have to do again?
Poplar. I hate poplar trees. They can go die.
I'm actually a poplar tree lover now, only because I don't route exclusively the trees. I'll actually add in the sissels as well. And literally the whole time I was going up to 293, I got, I think, 9 gathering levels just off those thistles.
Wow, that's impressive.
Yeah, pretty big gap. But honestly, poplars are really bad if you're cutting just the poplar trees. So I wouldn't recommend it in that case.
So you cut and then drop the other parts, or?
Yep. All the sissels just hit the floor.
I think I just sort of hate most trees that require me to use a fear pot. I kind of resent having to do that.
I don't even use one.
Oh yeah.
It's a little different for me though, because basically I route in that one room with the 4 trees and the sissels. Yep. You route a U shape back and forth, and basically you drop all the gathering, and when it's time to bank, you teleport back to central, which I know a lot of people do. You run by the Wendigo, and then you teleport back. So you only pass by them once. And because I'm 500 combat, even if they engage me in combat, it only takes. I think it's literally faster to just kill them than cast immunity.
Really?
I heard you saying that.
That's crazy.
Not to mention,
That's real strat.
I still haven't been able to fully like test this because it was honestly just too much effort with 500 combat. But if you use past action on a mob and kill a lower level mob than what like just something you can one tap, you'll instantly gain immunity.
That's huge.
Oh, yeah.
What? I never thought
That's
that.
some high level strats.
Wow. That's going in a guy.
I avoid fear pots. I avoid fear pots whenever possible. Right now I'm using them on Suaves just because I have to go through 2 different zones and it shades, so they're the max tier.
Oh yeah.
So I don't really want to deal with them, but if I can avoid using fear potions, I will always sacrifice a little bit of XP per hour, honestly.
Getting that fear potion on your tool belt is going to be a game changer for so many people.
Yeah, I forget they
it will,
exist.
It will help.
It's gonna be nice to have the actually engage the game with that.
But you know, honestly, even the time to drink is sometimes too much for me. Because like it was like a 20% chance that I'd even get tagged by a Wendigo when I'd run through. So
yeah, when we get the longer ones, or you can buy the longer ones from from Clayton, you'll be happier there.
I don't know. I've been so broke my whole Hope Forest grind. So.
Sat, do you think that it would have been maybe better? No, there's no way. Doing leather worker and then buying the logs, or just
I did consider
what I was thinking.
I did start doing leveling up some of my level working, but there was a player above me who was doing woodcutting, and I was not able to compete in the slightest. Woodcutting was by far the best option.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
It's cool that
agreed.
you tried.
You'd spend an hour doing woodcutting, gain a level, and you'd have enough logs to then level up carpentry, and you'd also gain gold from that as well. Rather than like especially when you get to the later levels, it costs like 5,
you get
gold a level.
You get the gold anyway, so yeah, it makes sense.
Yeah. So yeah, it would kind of 100% worth it. 100%.
100%. Yeah.
All right. Well, that should be everything. I think I'm pretty satisfied. I think if I let these guardians chat, they'll go all day. So we should probably cut them off at this point.
Can I do a couple shout outs?
Yes, absolutely. Go ahead.
So I could probably shout loads of people. I'm not going to.
Start spitting
big shout
like
out
Clayton
to-
did.
Yeah. Big shout out to Waka. She's awesome. Keep me
Oh,
safe
yeah.
in my 500 guide. Shout out to Nat. She's great as well. Someone great to chat to. Shout out to Marla. He helped me a lot with some of the login routes towards the end, which were really helpful, particularly the popular, which I hated. Shout out to Ape and Savage. They were really big supporters. And I think I'll leave it there because it'd be too much otherwise.
Very
All
good.
right.
Hey, I know all those names. That's crazy.
Yeah. Of course.
Yeah, so maybe names there.
I like that the game is dead. that's not what I mean, but I do love that everyone knows everyone. It's kind of actually super chill. Every time someone brings it up, it makes me so happy. I love it. But that should be everything. Thanks so much for coming on, Sap.
Thanks so much for having me.
Yeah, and
Thanks for
congrats. Good luck on the rest of your grind to 500.
Cheers. Thank you so much.
All right, we're gonna bring on Vporal. Hello. Wait, hold on. Gotta unmute him. Hello, Vporal.
Hello, can you guys hear me okay?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sure can. Welcome.
Wait, 1 second.
Welcome.
I think I got you twice. Speak again.
There's also another special guest. My cat
Hello.
Mona has appeared on the webcam.
Yeah, I saw that. Sorry, Vporal, say something again.
Hello, testing. 1, 2, 3.
What have I done? 1 second.
I can still hear Vorpal.
No, he's coming through twice on the stream, which is a problem. Let's fix that. Okay, one more time.
Hello, hello.
Yeah, all good. Perfect. Hello, Vporal. We are Congratulations on 200 all, which is what I invited you on for today. But you're also number 4 in total, is that right?
Currently rank 4, yep.
Awesome. So tell us about your decision to jump into Brighter Shores and start a total grind like you have.
Well, I'd heard about like little bits and pieces of Brighter Shores for years now, but I was only like more closely following it in maybe the last year or so.
Mm-hmm.
And initially, like, I thought it was supposed to be coming out in like September, but it seemed like Andrew kept pushing it back more and more to try to get PvP out for launch, but eventually just gave up on that anyway. But I was kind of like, I knew I was going to like this game for a while, and I was definitely keeping a close eye on it.
Were you big into
As for
RuneScape?
like, oh yeah, I mean, I couldn't even tell you how many hours I have on RuneScape. It's in the tens of thousands for sure.
Yeah.
Many hours. Been playing it on and off for probably 15 or 20 years.
Yeah.
But yeah, as for choosing total level, it was more of just like I was just kind of feeling out whatever seemed like the most fun thing to do. I like very nearly went the path of like someone like Sanhai, of like just trying to be like super like macro efficient and then just do like 500 merch into 500 leatherworking and that whole route. But switching around, hopping between the skills just seemed a little more fun to me. And yeah, so just landed on that, I guess.
Yeah. And then once you got settled in, we knew more about the game. You jumped into 200 all as the kind of focal point.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, really, how the game is right now, like there's not a ton of content aside from just grinding professions, right? So
yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And well, since you've done everything, what was your favorite episode?
Ooh, favorite episode. Probably episode 4, but I think it's heavily carried by Merchant. It's just from liking Merchant so much.
Yeah.
I think Hopeport is actually a close second. Hopeport's pretty good.
I came back around on Hopeport too. After I unlocked everything, I always find myself coming back to Hopeport. I love the chef bounties. I love the vibe. Foraging's fun. Yeah. I find myself coming back there pretty often.
I love seeing all the new people in Hopeport whenever I teleport there for potions.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, there's
Chef
tons.
bounties is probably that's probably the one thing I dislike about Hopeport. It just feels like a bad
hold
merchant.
on, calm down.
Mostly the main thing is just I don't like that it's hourly. It feels very
oh yeah,
almost like a daily.
It's pretty intense. You can do them every 2 hours if you get there on time.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, if you get there like 2 minutes before and then you just make an inventory of whatever you're making, then just pick up the next one, sell your stuff, and then you leave.
Yeah. So how much do you play? Do you work from home? Do you do your big 12 hours, 16, 24?
I play a lot. It might actually be less than some people think, but I mean, most days it's probably between, I would say, like 15 to 17 hours, probably most days.
Yeah.
But I'm not doing like the crazy like 18, 19, 20 like some people are
well,
doing.
as Monster Girl was saying earlier, just the consistency especially for total level, the consistency is a little bit more important than getting that extra hour or two crunch in.
100%.
Oh yeah. Like at this point, I guess there's 9 people now, but I was looking at it the other day when there was like 8 people who had 3,600 total or more, and out of those eight people, like 3 of them have either like severely lowered their playtime or they just straight up aren't playing now.
Yeah, and that'll change.
Like just logging in for passives.
Do you have hopes of like number 1? You just like playing, you're just seeing what you're going to end up at, or?
Oh, like, so for me, like, I've been playing the game the same way since day 1. Like, the leaderboards hasn't affected how I play in any way. I mean, it's like cool that I'm a high rank, you know,
Okay.
but
So you're just
really
playing for the love of it.
it's just yeah, it's just kind of a consequence of like playing the game a lot, you know.
Okay, cool. So, well, since you touched on it, let's talk about the leaderboards, which was you guys
Yeah,
gonna come up. It was gonna come up. So I apologize for throwing you that
No,
much,
no,
especially because
ask
you
whatever
don't
you
seem
want.
you seem to not really give a shit about it. So, how do you feel
Yeah.
about the whole top 10 situation? Being top 10 yourself, obviously, you'd say you don't really care too much, but what about the opt-outers and all that kind of controversy?
Yeah, I mean, I think the whole thing is just kind of silly. I can see points on both sides between like the whole opt-out thing, but
Regarding
I don't know, especially
not regarding the privacy part, but regarding the grind part, right, where you're hiding your grind and stuff.
yeah. And the one, I guess I'll start. It's like a little since this is only the one real argument I can think to opt out, and I don't even think it's that strong of an argument, but it's like if you were a top 10 player who now you're trying to maybe lock in top 20 on a profession leaderboard, if people saw that you were pushing on there, they might play a little differently knowing it was like a top 10 total player versus like somebody else, right? Like they might have higher expectations of them or something.
I
So
see.
the one argument there, yeah, would be opt out so people don't treat you differently just from, you know, being high total or something. But
Okay, so
like I said,
this is
I
regarding.
don't even think that's a strong argument really. But
So regarding other leaderboards other than the total one, right?
yeah, pretty much. Because I mean, well, up until super recently, like you couldn't hide your total in game anyway, and like
Yeah.
when you play this much, like we're gonna see you. Like you can't hide forever, you know. You can't hide in crime dens forever.
Mhm.
Especially when some people are also streaming at the same time.
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah, I do think that's interesting. Yeah, because you can see people stream and then you can see their total anyway.
Yeah.
I guess that's a reason to go to their stream, though.
Yeah, that's true. I'm gonna opt out so everyone can see my terrible, like, I think I'm only like 1,500. I'm not super crazy. I'm too busy doing this kind of shit. Yeah, you stream as well, Vorpal, don't you? Is that a consequence of like, oh hey, I'm already playing anyway, or I really like the game, or did you stream before the Bright Shores?
I used to stream like a long time ago, but I mean, Brighter Shores is the first time I have in years, so
Yeah.
it kind of feels like starting fresh sort of thing. But yeah, it was like kind of a thought in the back of my head, and I didn't start streaming from like day one, but probably in like the last month or so, I was like, yeah, you know, might as well anyway. I'm playing this much. Maybe some people want to hang out and watch it, and
Which
yeah,
I think
it's actually been going better than I thought.
yeah, a lot of people have been. There's the tail again. A lot of people have been popping in and saying hello, and haven't. I know I've done that myself too. So to see what you're up to, and usually merchant right now, I think.
Merchant's kind of what I'm defaulting to, but it's sort of just I don't really have another like super short-term goal. I feel like I'm kind of in the like the trading waiting room. Like so many things that I want to do right now kind of revolve around trading.
Right.
Like for combat,
You're gonna
I
play
was
the economy?
oh yeah, like I'm looking to buy like good weapons and stuff for combat, or even some things like the weapon craft skills. Like really the slowest part of like if you look at smithing, it's the part where you're making the ores into the bars. Like if I can just buy the bars, smithing might not be nearly as slow. And
Understandable.
yeah, just so it's like with merchant, I'm making plenty of gold. Pretty much for everything, you need gold in this game, and even in terms of like gathering skills, like I kind of want my tools to be higher level first. Need gold for that, so feels like I don't really have a ton of options right now if I'm just waiting for trading, but thankfully I enjoy merchant anyway, so it's not that big of a deal.
I think if you had to be top 10, I think you'd have to have some kind of love for merchant. A lot of people seem to love that skill or hate that skill. So, but as a top 10, you need to be doing it. You can't passive that thing. It's too strong. It gives so much KP and XP.
Yeah, it's also some of the fastest levels too, I guess, if you care
Yeah.
about holding on to one of those top spots.
Which is funny. 'Cause it's really funny to me that you just kind of like there at the party and you're like, I'm not here hanging out with anyone. I'm just here because I am.
Yeah,
I
pretty
just
much.
showed up. That's cool. Well, you seem really chill. I don't know. Did you have any other questions, guys? Oh, what content? So I was gonna ask what content you're looking forward to the most, but it seems like it's just trading, right?
Probably trading. Yeah, like Samuel made that tweet the other day asking people like what they were most excited for. And I voted trading, and that was only like 10% of the vote or something. It was like 70 to 80% people voted for the combat rework.
Yeah.
I was like, okay.
So, anything else from the other people? Top 10.
Yeah. I guess one question I have is, do you have any professions that you intend to bring to 500, or are you just kind of doing whatever you feel like at a time, right?
I mean, I think the super long-term goal is eventually I'd like to get everything there, but I don't have like I guess not an immediate focus on.
Do you think you'll
particular
max
skill.
before episode 5 comes out?
Probably not, unless like I don't know. Like if we're thinking what episode 5 might be like late
6 months,
spring,
maybe.
early summer. Yeah, it's probably not enough time. Though if it got delayed to like fall or something, maybe. But yeah,
it's gonna be. I think the dynamics for the total level is gonna be really interesting once these new episodes come out, because people are not gonna be fully maxed, and they're gonna have a lot more options once they hit 200 and everything in Stonemore. They have to reconsider what they're KPing, passiving, everything. So plus we might get new buffs like builder and stuff. So.
Like, of course, when episode 5 comes out, too, like, we're all rushing 200 in those skills. But as for going past 200, yeah, it'll just kind of depend. I'll have to figure it out.
Do you think you'll race on any of the 500s for the new episode?
It's a good question, and that's something I've thought about, too. And that's kind of another reason for, just stockpiling merchant and leatherworking, trying to build up as much gold as possible.
Are you banking leather?
No, I'm just selling it. But
okay.
I mean, it could just be the case that armorer is like a thing that people just KP through anyway, right? So it's like
possible.
It's another consideration there. But yeah, I guess the short answer is it just depends. If I'm not opposed to it, I guess, if I really enjoy some of the skills there, but I'm also not gonna like commit myself to it if I'm not feeling it or whatever.
Yeah, vibes. Pure
much,
vibes.
Yeah. I got another question for you, Vporal. What are some memorable moments from your journey? Being everywhere in Brighter Shores, getting 200s. I imagine you've been in some interesting situations.
That's a good question, actually. Well, at least early on, I mean, probably a lot of people feel this too, but just getting like my first like 50, 100, and 200 capes, that was fairly memorable. All of them were merchant, but the merchant will probably be the first 500, most likely. But
it's a really good skill.
I guess hitting like each of the every 1,000 total levels felt pretty good. So like 1,000, 2,000, 3,000, and hopefully sometime soon 4,000. Not quite there yet though.
Got there.
I would say those would probably be the main ones. I think the forest felt particularly long, but probably just because I saved like basically everything in there, even including Scout to last. Whereas like with the other episodes, I kind of hopped around a bit more. And I guess with the mines, a lot of the mines was just knowledge anyway. So really all I had to do there was mine fighter and mining, really. But yeah. And then Chronopolis just felt fast just because the skills are fast there, aside from leatherworking.
So fast.
So.
Wonderful. Yeah, that sounds about right. Yeah. I guess I thought of another question too, which is, how's the grind been now that you've hit all 200s? You're in the molasses, as I like to say. how's that been going? How's your morale been?
Actually, so much better. Like I'm more motivated now than pre 200s, which I know
Nice.
might sound kind of backwards, but I don't know. Like for me before, it's like the levels were almost too fast, where like I didn't feel like gaining a level didn't feel that special, I guess. And there was many times where like I would just sit at an unlock like a level or two longer than I needed to because I was just on autopilot and I didn't even realize I unlocked the next thing yet. You know, it felt like I was just starting to get in the groove of it.
Right.
Whereas now it's like a lot easier to like really like settle into a grind and get that.
I guess you notice them more, right? After 3,000 of them, you're like, oh, whatever. But now, now that they're slower, you're like, oh, hey, I leveled up. That's cool.
Yeah, it actually feels like something now. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Oh, right. I think that's everything from anyone.
Well, I think I have one more. Do you think after you've seen the combat changes now, will that make you more or less likely to just rush combat once that goes live? Or rather, are you sitting on combat now to do it later after the update?
So initially, I was sitting on combat for waiting for trading more than anything. And this was before we even knew about the combat rework really being a thing. But then, yeah, after knowing that, it's weird because I feel like it doesn't really change too much, but kind of in a good way, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I feel you.
Like probably the biggest change is just the like the combat tree, right? And seeing you know, like I think somebody mentioned earlier, like even if it makes it even if it makes it go like 10% faster or something from all the abilities or whatever you unlock, like you're definitely going to feel that. And I'm not exactly sure. I don't know if they even mentioned in the post or not, but I'm not exactly sure how that works. Like if it's going to be better to like level them all at like a similar pace, or if you want to do guard first or something like that. I'm not exactly sure how it works, but
So from what I could tell, not only do you get like global points, there are also ones that affect your current and the next episode,
The
but
next one,
not episodes beyond that.
Yeah.
So I do think it would be fastest to go sequentially.
Mm-hmm.
yeah, that would make sense. But then it also like guard especially was one where like I did a lot of foraging while doing guard at the same time. So like I'd be at the carnivorous plants and then I'd like gather all the potatoes between the kills, stuff like that. So then it starts bringing in considerations of like, well, now I need to get my foraging up to match a point where it's lining up with the whatever guard mob I'm on. And there's a lot to think about if you're trying to really min-max that sort of stuff. But I mean, to me, it's fun to think about.
Yeah.
But
yeah, I can relate to that pretty thoroughly in Hope Forest, trying to make sure your nodes are similarly leveled.
Yeah, that was actually another thing with Hope Forest that I wasn't a huge fan of. Is it just seemed like such a struggle to line up gathering with any sort of woodcutting.
Oh, it's awful.
I put so much more knowledge into
pretty
gathering
bad.
than I was ever planning on. But yeah, another thing with combat too that I don't know if they said this. I feel like I even asked Samuel, and I'm not even sure if he knew. But crime dens, with the fact that we're not going to have that penalty anymore, I don't know if they're going to have to like adjust the XP that you get from them or how that's going to work.
It's gonna be great.
I think what said that basically they're going to force update you to the next difficulty, or like scale them up so that they are never less than 10 levels below you. So they would scale up with you rather than the XP scaling down, which also means that just doing dens wouldn't be an efficient way anymore because you don't get any gear from them. So unless you can trade for that gear, you would just get your ass handed to you because your gear wouldn't scale with you.
Yeah, it'll be good to see. They might even be able to squish the gap between them by adding more, like, because there's the combat levels, the way they work a little bit differently. Might be able to squish the gaps between, like, this is not like 40 levels difference, or even add another detective tier for each den or two. I don't know.
Yeah.
But they might.
Yeah, so
That would also increase detective experience.
Yeah.
well, I'm not actually sure if it would be a buff or a nerf then, because like, yeah, you don't have to deal with the combat penalty anymore, but before, when you were just like 20, 30 levels above them or whatever, you were smoking them so fast, the kills were so much faster that it kind of made up for that penalty a little bit.
Yeah.
Abuse
It's
early,
hard to
abuse
really
often.
know. Well,
Use
I
them
don't
while
know,
you got
like,
'em.
should I do the dens now? Should I wait? I actually don't know the answer.
It sounds
If
like
you feel like it, have fun with them.
yeah, it
You
sounds
might
like you
not be
don't
able to
care.
later.
Yeah.
Pure vibes. Awesome. Well,
Yeah.
thank you so much for coming on. Did you have anything you wanted to shout out or say?
I really appreciate it. Not really, except for I guess that I stream on Twitch.
Yep. I just
My Twitch username is just Vporal07, or maybe a little more. 07 is probably a little more clear on that.
popped a link in chat, and it's in the description of the podcast as well. So you can check out Vporal anytime. I think you stream quite a bit. Maybe not every hour you're playing, but I do see you quite often on there. So having a, just
It usually goes pretty long streams, and so far it's been every day. So
Cool.
yeah, probably
Wow.
catch me on pretty often.
yeah, there you go. Good background noise. All right. Well, thanks so much for coming on.
Thank you, Vorpal.
Thanks for having
Yeah.
me.
Thank you, Vorpal.
And let's go back to this one. I started doing leatherworking, and then I was told off by Lozulion to stop being distracted. So can't win. Absolutely cannot win. I think that's most of it. We do have a couple of meme stuff to get through to wrap up the stream, but anything else? I think awesome guests, really cool to have on. Even though we had a little bit of like news anchor. Yeah, Clayton. Oh, we're having a little bit of trouble. Big delays. I asked Clayton a question, and he did respond like 30 seconds later. It was great. Yeah, it's really interesting to see the feedback on the leaderboard stuff. It seems like it has grown to be this massive thing, which might not actually be that big. And a lot of people are saying, I don't even know what the drama is anymore at this point. So
Yeah.
yeah, but not to harp on that too long.
Honestly, I'm glad that I kind of avoided most of it myself.
Fair enough, really.
Staying in my own lane.
I just felt bad because I asked for these exact changes, and then Andrew goes through with it, and
I
then
know.
this happens, and I feel personally bad
attacked.
that happened.
Yeah, it's like when I pester Samuel about feedback, and then we get it, and I feel like I'm being annoying. All right, let's go through these. We found another crawl space.
Yes, I literally just saw somebody in there the other day, actually. I'm in this room right now.
I don't. Help me, Stepwolf. I'm stuck. It's so fun. One time I was in Hopeport, I was just chilling around, and the boat in the Grenards, you can crawl under that and drown yourself.
What?
Yeah, there's a little, not the big boat, in where the Grenards are, where the bandits are. There's like a little pier, and there's a little rowboat. You can crawl under there too. You can't drown yourself, but like it's funny. You do go fully submerged underwater.
I was literally gonna say they programmed you to die in that spot, because that would have been hilarious.
There's also a crouch animation.
Someone at Andrew.
Yeah. There's also a crouch animation similar to this. It's like a crouch walk. There was a I can't remember. I haven't seen any in a while. I think there was one in Chronopolis sewers, but I think they got rid of that one because you could crouch and avoid combat.
Oh, interesting. Yeah, there was a bug actually. I reported it, near the dock leaves, where if you approach from a specific side, you'll be stuck in that crouch animation.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, pretty.
On the leaderboards thing, I made this, which is
That's good.
just when he posted the tweet, I'm just like, this is him, man. Just give him a break.
Just give him a break. I just cannot fathom. Like
Yeah.
they're taking the dev team take a little detour for us, and this is how we respond.
All right. I don't want to beat that dead horse, so we'll skip past this one.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. This came up because of the RuneScape drama. I don't.
True.
This is the guy who did the Cabbage Man series. He posts these memes like every other day. It's great. So apparently using like an alt code, we got like this. I don't even know what this O is, but he's got Andrew Gower as a name now, or it's edited. I don't know. It's great. So we get free customer support with your Brightest Shore subscription.
Honestly, I sent them an email about that little gate in Kren that you always had to like right click on and then you could jump over.
Wait,
and they
you're the
fixed
guy?
it faster than
You're
and
the guy who complained?
JGX has taken longer to get back to my tickets than Andrew did fixing that.
I had a weird bug, a billing bug with Jagex recently, where the cookie, if you had multiple Jagex accounts, when I purchased one thing, like a keys pack or whatever, pay to win, whatever, I bought a 30-day key pack on one account using one billing method on one account, and it got bought by a different account because of the cookies. And it took them 5 days to respond. They did fix it. They transferred it, but it was actually crazy. I wasn't even playing anymore by then.
Yeah.
So you're saying that you honeyed yourself?
Yeah, I got honeyed by friggin' JX, whatever.
Oh my god.
Printer McGee. This is the guy who does the 3D printed mall chests and stuff like that. He 3D printed the obelisk, and then apparently, they got ideas from the community to where to put the obelisk. So I don't know. So have you seen these?
I haven't
yet.
All right, I'll take you through
this.
this.
Really cool.
Yeah, so yeah, we have the obelisk. Paint it and put it in your garden IRL. It's just a pot. Arc sword from Halo.
I love it.
Yeah, dope.
Decorative bookends. This is actually pretty cool.
I would honestly do that.
That works. Yeah.
Yeah. Phone charger. A lot of people recommended this. Like
a little
stand.
less practical, but sure, I feel it.
And sit on them. I couldn't even say it with a straight face. Sit on them.
Oh, I'll have to take a hard pass on that.
At least I know why that Cryo Knight was so grumpy.
Oh my god.
I think that's the last one. Blob. This is again from the Cabbage Man. Bob the Blob's first day of school. I don't know why he made this. But it's kind of cute.
It is cute.
Yeah.
I have a couple. Oh, this one came from my community. Being a dead horse a little bit, but I don't wish to be happy.
Yeah.
I wish to complain about more things.
Yeah, I've definitely seen that.
About.
And we
You
saw
get everything you ask for, and I'm still unhappy.
last couple of weeks ago we found the British Columbia meme, and now there's a player.
Yeah. Wonderful. I'm so glad.
So now we might see British Columbia running around. I hope he doesn't change. I hope he sticks to this name. This is great. I just Not many people are gonna get it, but when they do get it, it's super good.
Imagine.
I really hope they make a reference in game about that.
That would be great.
Yeah.
I think there's some people who are joking about maybe all of British Columbia just plays as one account. We'll see.
Yeah. Hey, that's against TOS. You can't say that.
Whoa. No count sharing, guys. And that's everything for today. I'm gonna cut us away to the credits, and we'll start doing a sign off.
Look at all those pretty people.
Yeah, these people all support these. So this stream is ad free on YouTube. When you're here watching the stream, by these guys' support, I can't have ads because that would be a terrible watching experience. But Twitch also makes you do them. So thank you all for your support. I saw Kels the Mod gifted 5 subs as well. Really, I will have to start putting their names on there here. But thanks so much, Kels, and thanks everyone for your support. And take it away, Monster Girl.
Yeah, thanks for having me. It was a really good time. You know, like I said at the beginning, I'm Monster Girl. I'm stuck in the forest. My ankle bracelet will go off if I leave for too long. You can find me just about 4 or 5 days a week on twitch.tv/justamonstergirl. And I primarily play Brighter Shores right now. Oh, and if you want shout outs, shout out to basically everybody that Sap shouted out. just copy paste that.
Just the Hope Forest gang. Yeah.
Yeah. Yep.
Shulk.
Yeah, I'm Etho Shulk, as above here, also on Twitch. That's basically where I do my thing. I play mostly Brighter Shores these days, and otherwise RPGs. Always down to have a good time with everyone. So if you want to hang out and celebrate that I just got sent back to Hopeport again, please give me emotional support on twitch.tv/MefoShow. Thank you very much.
And I'm Tel. Thank you all for watching. Thank you all very, very much from the bottom of my heart for watching. I put this together because I see the joy it brings for everyone in the community. It's a lot of fun. Thanks so much for the support. And do check out Instant Gaming. I unironically use it. I genuinely believe in it. I use it all the time to buy games that I would buy anyway. And you can also support the channel that way. So if you're looking to take a break, take a look at there. There's Path of Exile 2 on sale at the moment on there, which is bad for me because it will... I've been holding off on buying it, but I think I might actually buy it now. Please like and subscribe. As all YouTubers must say, thank you all very much for watching. I love you all. But if your name's on the screen, I love you just a little bit more. Have a great day.